This needs to come off because it's leaking in front of the wheel. There you can see. I need to build a frame around the bonnet, around the bumper. I'm going to put the cooler right by the vent. So I'm going to have the outlet of this, so this one. That's effectively going to go to the top or the bottom of the cooler. And I'm going to have a little hose made that goes, well, I'm going to make one that goes from there to the bottom of the cooler. So, or ideally, because it's going to be hot, ideally I'd like to go outlet to the top of the cooler, because obviously heat rises in the bottom to push it through the cooler. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm not remaking this hose, so I'm going to do it to fit. I'll fit that yet. Right, but for now, I've got to jack this car up, which I always find a massive chore in this garage.
"75 years later."
The articulation on that is absolutely horrific. Yeah, that's good. So, always just check your stands, make sure you've not got air under them. Wow, that was annoying. And we give your car a wobble. Right, being underneath here. Right, you being underneath here. Oh my word. Jacking cars is so irritating. Single garage. Right. At least I've got a single garage, right? Now I think that is a 14. Oh my god. Why is that on the floor? Right, so I've got two problems. No, well, yeah, more than two problems. But let's address the ones I can solve. So, if you're ever doing an oil change, get one of these. I believe it's a 10 litre. Can't be sure. Right. Another option. Silver decent mileage. No matter what you do, you'll never be on fault. Pisses me off. These have got a plugger as well, so you can undo that, let the air in, out, in this case. Make sure that's done up tight, and then undo that. I believe this is a 10 litre. It looks like 10 litres, doesn't it? But I'm led to believe it's a 10 litre. So, I'm sure that it's a 14. It's obviously tightening up because I'm an idiot. And then, what we do, this is a magnetic one, a magneto. So, just pinch it off. I should be doing this with a glove on. And what I want to do is I'm gonna check the oil and see, look, I have not. See, fucking balls. This has got a leak on it again. And that is obviously going to drop right in front of that wheel. That's why we're doing this. Let me grab some blue tape, blue towel. Again, look, there's loads of nuts on here that I haven't oranged. So I know that they're tight, but it's easy, isn't it, when you just look at it, like all this stuff, like the cooler brackets, like I'll make all this better later. But if it's got an orange tab on it, you know it's good. So this has got a magnetic a strong magnet on it. Yes. So it's got a lot of crud on it, but how dirty that oil is. That oil has done nothing but dyno. So that's why I change it. It looks quite thick as well. So that's why I change it after a dyno session, because it's on its head absolutely kicked in. You know, the airflow's not the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to inspect that. So it looks like quite a lot of build up. So I want to know what that is. Now that could just be sludge and just shit, because it's sitting obviously in the bottom. But I like to get a stronger magnet on, see if I can pull that stuff off it. And then I'm going to obviously pull this filter, this whole arrangement off. I'm going to check that filter out. But the last time I did this, and also I've got a strainer on the, this is an OPI pump, Dan the Wizard. I have a strainer on the suction out the sump at the back there. So I've got an AN10 strainer, just because that's what we use at work on the big pumps. Obviously not AN10, we use like 6-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, 2-inch strainers. So I'm always of the impression you should protect your pump. So that strainer will catch any shit that comes out the bottom of the engine, in the sump, through the strainer, around, and then in the pump. The last thing you want to do is compromise your pump. So the intervals that I service this at is so frequent that it will never be a case of that strainer being blocked before that pump. And obviously you're monitoring your oil pressures anyway, so you've got oil pressure safety in your ECU. So if there was ever an issue, you have a massive fail-safe anyway. Anyway, you've seen enough of this shit, but these are really good because you can just push them around, move them around, blah blah blah. Yeah. And I just let that drain right out. Now obviously the angle of the engine does support that would be flushed. You can do one of them engine flushes, but don't think any of us here are leaving our car 30,000 miles between oil services, are we? And I'll just let that hang out there for a little while. So what I'll do is I'll pull this off the back here now. Well, when that's done, pull that off the back, check the strainer. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull this off. So I've just noticed on this side as well, you'll see that there, that's the outlet. That's got a little weep on it. The pressure side of the pump looks okay, but this side here looks a bit weepy. Oh shit. And I don't need, there's no reason why any of this should be leaking. Now this hose was always potentially a temporary. I could do that out of hard line, but it is all fairly neutral. All these bends are fairly neutral. That pipe is not anywhere near its, you know, maximum bend radius, blah blah blah. So it's decent. I just don't like weepy bits. Has that moved? I don't know actually. Potentially. That's why we tab it. But it's not connected in the middle. So that does say to me maybe it's got hot and moved. So anyway, I'm going to strip all this down. This is coming off. This is all coming out really, really irritatingly so, but it's got to be done. I can't have this weeping next to the wheel. In fact, even in this metal frame, maybe I'll build like a little catch pot or something. Not that I want it. Maybe 3D printed, maybe. I'll 3D print something for the environment. I'm not sure. Again, check this while I'm here. I'll make sure this is all tight. And then I've got to adjust this boost pipe. What I might do is just chop that length off there, rotate that around and up, and then do a fillet on there. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. And I'll probably leave these for now, but they're going to change. But I need to get that up because that is the lowest point of the car right now. I believe it's very close to the downpipe, bottom elevation. But with my carbon under tray, I want to get that up high. So that just takes a small rotation to fix that. 20 minutes of welding. Robert Cheval's brother. Okie dokie. It's annoying because I hate doing things 2, 3, 4 times, but you can't have oil leaks, especially on cars that are, you know, you're asking them to do things So it's only going to get worse, and it's only going to cause more problems. So you can see here, it's leaking here, it's leaking here. I need to investigate why that is. Some people have told me to put on the, this is the female, on the male side, put a small scoochie of that Victorine's sealant, but it's metal to metal, it shouldn't leak. What are they, 37.5 degrees? It's a taper, so it shouldn't leak. But alright, whatever. It's not the end of the world, but it's an annoyance, isn't it? It's always an annoyance. Cars are not linear. This isn't like a path to success. It's a... We've had a massive win on the dyno. Now we've got to come back and say, regroup. What bits worked, what bits didn't work. Let's fix them. Here we are. So much battery. Now it looks a bit strong. Just trying to position you. So I need to get a bunch of tools now. I'm going to just let him run. I'm going to drop all of this into a little... See there, look, that's leaking on the floor. I've done absolutely nothing. I'll get some acetone, clean it all up. I've got my light there. And then what I'm going to do is disconnect these plugs. Disconnect this. I've got 2 caps for those, should be. I'll pull the whole lot off that way as well. I can check the oil, check the filter. Take you along for the ride. That's still draining a little bit. Now there will be a little bit of oil stuck in this pipe, but I've got to undo these, so when I undo that I'll drop it down and drain it. Lovely! But there, you can see how oily they are. It's all so oily from when the dump valve goes off. This is effectively blowing it all up. I can clean all that. Look at how oil that is. Alright, bloody hell. I realise where it goes, it goes in there. So let me get this out of the way and then I'll clean it all up. You know what, I'm going to put some of them Gucci and the Mexicus gloves on. Because it's going to be a shitty job. Speaking of which, you just bloody text me.
Okay, you should just know that we don't do this a lot, so this is like a really huge deal.
Oh, I love managing so much. What are these called? Gator gloves or something? No idea. But the Mexicus doesn't leave his house unless he's wearing them. It's very, very particular about the humidity touching his skin. So it's a bit strange like that. Good carpet, though. Good lad, look. We've all got them weird mates, haven't we? What you need, always get plugs and caps. No matter what you're doing, get 2 sets. Get AN6, if you've got AN6 for sex, yes please, for oil, water, fuel, and AN10 for your oil main lines, if that's what you're running. And as always, I am in the most annoying positions, so I'm gonna have to like lay down here, give it a bit of the old whatever, get a little picture for Instagram, because that's what we do. And the way I put these on, because you can't access them, is, I mean, you can do it like that, but try and do them one at a time. Just break them off. That's annoying. Why are they different sizes? How can they possibly be different sizes? That is insanity. How could they possibly be different sizes? How are my fittings, AN10, from the same company? They're both Torx. How could they possibly be different sizes? That is mental. Okay, don't know. That is mental. But what I want to do is go that way, and then oh yeah, boy. Just do that, just to let her move. So I want to drop her down. And let her drain. As you can see, even though it's loose, it's a fiddle. It's all a fiddle. ANs look good on the car, but they are fucking irritating to work with. I should nip that up so I don't piss out of there now. Fucking irritating things to work with. Anyone who tells you any different, it's probably endorsed by Goodrich or something. They are massively irritating to work with. But that's alright. I mean, that's all misty because of pump valve. I've got to make sure that's tight. So that's the old pump saver. Hopefully you can see that. Made this little pump saver bracket. Ties it up to stop any nose flex. Because we all know nose flex kills pumps in reflex. I cannot believe that's different size. Anyway, right, so talking to caps. We'll have a cap on that now. Also as well, I want to check the oil in there. I'll inspect it on the bench. I cannot believe that's different. So that is mental. Again, that's going to need drain. So that's going to fall off there. I cannot believe that's different sizes. That is mental. Got these proper Chinesium spanners. Oh, this was many years ago, different colours. And I've got to be honest with you, they were peanuts, but good as gold for many years. So that, I think that, so that feels shit as well. Don't know what that is. Strange that. That is dog shit. Excuse my language, but this is all. I hate redoing stuff. Hate doing stuff 2 or 3 times. I hate having to try and do a good job of something and then redo something because for some reason, unknown reason, it fails. To me, that is insanity, but here we are. That is also cars, and cars are insanity, so it can't be helped, really. I've got to cap them off. That's got an O-ring in it, that one, so I don't have to nip him up. The fact that that is a different size is mental. Fucking mental. Anyway, here we are. So we're now free. We should be free, so I can just get some oil on it. That. Just going to be a proper clean-up job. This. I actually need to get another oil pump out off the van. Because you always got to have a spare, haven't you? I'm also going to build, I think, I'm going to turn up a little thing that goes in there that creates a wheel on the outside so the belt can never come off. I'll drill and tap that wheel Tell you what, actually, I could 3D print something for that. Just put 4 bolts in it. Yeah, we'll do that. So you can almost hear it rusting 24/7, but it's not meant to have oil everywhere, is it? Now, right, that's disconnected. That's good. So now we can, and this is kind of why I built it like this, right? You can strip it all down quite quickly and get it all apart. That might be the postman. There we go, man. There's only 3 bolts in there. Can't remember why I didn't put 3 bolts in it. I wouldn't mind. I've got a bad shoulder. It's been bad for years. And this is. You can see oil dripping off the boost sensor. Mental. What a weighty little unit this. Smoke weed when I need it. Right. Don't know what's going on there. Oh, okay. Okay, no washer either, that's a bit weird. Right, so I've got to investigate all this. And you can even see, look, the oil behind the plate, which could do with coming off a bit sprayed, right? It's insane how much oil, especially when it's hot, goes everywhere. You actually don't want oil everywhere, do you? It's ripping off of everything. Well, at least I've better now. So, I mean, that's why I've modularly built things, right? So I can just pull stuff off, but I don't particularly like doing things 3-4 times. So here's another drip there. You drip. Yeah, let's go to the bench. Let's go to the bench. I prefer to go to the beach, but here we are. It's now off the card, it's going to need a proper clean up. That, so look, this is how I normally leave my filters. Ready to rock and roll. That's all clean, that's a bit manky. But what I'll do, that's a special tool to pull the filter cartridge out. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably put the red one back on, because that's all clean. Once I've cleaned it again, obviously, because look, it's got shit from sitting around. But I'm going to pull this apart. I'm going to pull all that stuff out of there, clean that. Put all this stuff back in there. We'll go through the filter. We'll go through this end here and just see what that is. I think that's just shit build up, but you never know. It could be metal filings or something, in which case that could mean, you know, not going to jinx it, say big ends, but here we are. So now I've got a really strong inspection magnet. It was on like a stick for like finding stuff if you drop something. But what I do is I use that to see if I can pull metal off of that. Didn't expect it to be that strong. Now you see it is pulling. It's only very fine. You can see no matter where I move it, there's some metal there. So I need to keep an eye on that, need to check it all. But as you can see, that jumped like 2 inches, so I didn't actually expect it to do that. Yeah, as you can see there, the metal is following the fuck me. The metal is following the magnet. So there is some metal there. But it's just jumped again. But oil pressure is really good. And I have a real tight limit set on that. So let's just have a look what we got, eh? Let's have a look what we've got. Don't forget, this engine's never been run in either, really. So I'm going to, I guess, do that later now. I mean, it's all just shit, isn't it? You'd think that... I really don't like doing this, but here we are. Right, I'm going to nip these off. They've all got to go, haven't they? Because all of them, looks like all of them are leaking. They're all O-ringed. Got O-rings that push in, but I'm not convinced an O-ring change is going to fix it. Anyway, let's have a look at it. I'm just going to unnip these in the vise. Got 2 flat circles there. So we'll just give it the big one here. Really don't want to be using a... Oh, that was tight. Adjustable, but I literally have all the spanners and none of them fit, so I don't want to drop that over the bloody Artec, so I'll just crack them both off. It's the easiest job with one hand. I mean, that is so tight. Jesus Christ, that's tight. But it feels a bit dodgy on the seal. You see what I mean? I'm turning that. It feels sticky. Right, so that could be a case of the O-rings are all just a bit tired. Right, I'll just slide that across. Right, let me just turn it around. I'm not sure that's what it's for, but it's got this little lip that stops it dropping and holds it all square, so it's pretty good. Here we go. It's quite easy, that one. Yeah, I could move everything out of the way, but this is players prep. And we all know that players prep, the whole garage goes to fucking hell. Oh! You know, that's tight again. See? This is why I shouldn't tighten things up. I'm known for it. I'm known for breaking stuff. It's not my fault. Right, so now, at least, I can put you here. Hand the electrical vise. And we can have a look. I'll tell you what, now we need to crack that off as well, don't we? Need to undo this, which I think is a 24. We'll go back over it, which will lift him off. What I like to do is I don't need these long ones for this, obviously, but it's a 22. It's only a 6-sider. Because it's alley, a 12-point might take the tips off. Take your tip off, sir. Look, it's decent. So we'll get a big one. It's just going to go 1 amp. Oh yeah, she's going. I'm not going to go any more than that because it's going to piss oil all over my clean workbench. Which is weird because I do all my electrical stuff here, but also my oil stuff, which is obviously against it. And then this one's my metal workbench and welding, but also 3D printing. So I'm really, yeah, I don't know. Right, so I need to put you back in the thing, so I need 2 hands now. Right, just get on with it. Not even sure that's full. Ah, fuel filler. That sits in the bottom of that. Bing bing. That's to separate that. So what we're going to do is put all that stuff over there. Probably going to put the red one back on. Quickly empty this tray. Give it a spray with the old acetone. The brake cleaner or whatever brake cleaner is, who knows? I think the aliens probably invented it. Conspiracy. Put that there. There's the oil cooler to go back on. And what we do is, because we've got the puppy pad now, very good tip, here's some puppy pads. I'm going to put some tissue in, and then we can just do a visual check. It's probably a really boring video, so I apologise, but I've got to solve this problem. So, and I've got to go through each piece, sort of figure out why it's leaking. Because pretty much all the ports are. Now I can Victor Ryan's them right up. Is that the solution though? I don't know. That's our plug. So this is our first port, which is still really, really tight. Yeah, we took the edge off now, right? So I've also marked on here. That was from before, but this is in and out because these filters are handed. But you'll see here, look. So I'm not fucking convinced. Then I've got this washer that sits on the inside of that, but that is flat as a pancake. And it looks a bit shitty, right? Look at that, it's not even fitting properly. So I think that's probably our first problem. So we'll spray each one down, get all the oil off it so we can look at it. The sun's just come out, so we're going to be cooking in a minute. What is this little cookie thing? Which I always use for looking at stuff. See that there? Sort of lost all its elasticity. And it's meant to sit in that. So there's an undercut on there. So it's actually a really nicely designed bit of kit, but the oil's obviously going to come up that thread. And the only thing that's sealing that, so what I reckon I'm going to do is Victor Ryan's that. I might internally profile that as well. Victor Ryan's that thread and with a new O-ring. If I've got O-rings. I should have. Quite into my brain dead trance today. Doing brain dead activities. Like this. Oh, have you seen this? Look. Quest Motorsport Keith gave me that. To borrow, of course. If you've got this far in the video, have a little guess what it's for. Write in the comments what you think this is for. I'll do it in a new video. What I'll do is I'll put this shit in here. Again, this is going to be exactly the same. That's just full of oil. Ugh, of course it is. But again, you see it's flat as a pancake, that. Understood the 10S 10B situation. You know what they stand for, let me know. Again, same situation there. That's the plug. But again, that's all sort of perished. What the fuck that is. Looks like Teflon, but there's no Teflon in my oil system, that's for sure. But that just all looks manky, doesn't it? It's all like crushed, flat as a pancake. And the thing is, you can only tighten that as tight as that surface. So even if you tighten that up to even stretch these threads out and be a bit weird, that can only tighten on that surface and then flat against there. So it's not like you could do massive damage, but really knows. Right, let's give it a little clean. I do absolutely detest having to do all this as well. This talk stuff usually is pretty good, but I also get a lot of people messaging me saying talk stuff is well shit. But also as well, how could you afford to do this if you was doing Goodrich stuff all the time? You couldn't. That's my argument. So they're identical. Threads match. But that O-ring is absolutely ruined. Flat as a pancake. There's no way that's sealing anything. So why it's gone like that, I don't really know. Maybe not truly oil safe. I don't know. Well, I assume this is going to be the same because it's got the same problem. It's not even a 10. It's not an 8. It's a 6. That's an 8B. That's an 8S. That size? No. No idea what that is. Right, I'm going to have to do this one first. Bloody ergonomics. This one felt gritty. It's got like milk on it. It looks like it's got Teflon on. Why would I have Teflon in my oil? It's on the thread. That's weird. Why would I have that there? Oh shit. Oh, sweet Jesus. That's definitely, look, that's definitely got Teflon around it. And no rubber seal. Interesting. Well, they didn't stand a fucking chance. Oh, I know not to put Teflon on oil. So that's weird. Now, I did build aspects of this car a long, long time ago. I'm not going to blame the fact that I've had COVID 7 times, but maybe I should have a lapse of concentration there. Well, I know it's not anything else, so everything else has recently been broken. Glad I got gloves on. These gloves are decent as well. Sexy Mexi always uses these. These extra Gucci. Loved it. clean all this up proper, get all this paint off, get a blade on it. You know, that's an important sensor, that one. That's my oil pressure. That one used to leak for a long time as well, but I put sealant on that, I remember it. So I'm still dismantling. This has all come together, all come apart quite nicely, they always do. But I am finding Teflon in it, and I don't remember doing that because I know not to. So, nothing crazy. Not on the inside either, just on like things like that thread there where I know it leaked in the past, so maybe I'll just, I don't know, mate, I did it so long ago. I don't know, maybe I'll just put, I don't know, I know Teflon and oil don't work, so it seems very strange I would have done that, but anyway, is what it is. Here we are, basically. Ow! So I'm just breaking down the actual oil filter housing itself, and for some reason what you do is you put the thread in there and then you lock it off with this lock nut, and you screw that on by hand, and you put a bit of oil there and you just and you do it up as tight as you can, and sometimes you nip it up with that, it doesn't leak. For some reason that thread, oh there we go, that thread was stuck in there. Well, it was only held on with a couple of threads, that was. Interesting. Don't know, that's very odd. Very odd for it to do that. I'd want all of that thread engaged. Something like that. That wouldn't work. Yeah, I need to look at that. But one thing of note is this seal. You see that? It's lifting there. And even if you push it in, it sort of naturally comes back out. And it seems, look, it's got a bit of a weird lip to it. Whether that had been caught. I mean, I always put oil on it, so it should be really neutral going in. But you never know, it might have just caught and got a bit funny. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that in the vise. And then I've got this tool. He goes in the top there. And you can separate this. This has got a O-ring in it as well. Originally thought that was leaking, but that's not leaking. It's coming out the top here. So again, I need to just do that quick. I'm not going to show you that because it's well boring, isn't it? Basically going to put that in the vise, adjustable on that, crank it open. Easy. Just do that. This little tool, and that comes out there. You see it's got an O-ring at the top there. Again, that's fucked by the look of it. I wanted to show you this because this is the way they are assembled if you ever got one. So effectively what happens is your dirty oil from the pump goes down the side there, pushes past a rubber seal that acts as a check valve, so the oil you can't get the oil back up. So once it's in, it's going through and then up the spout. So it's going down, pushing that down there, going around the side of the filter. Then the oil, so anything that's in the oil gets caught on the outside of the filter, then it comes up the inside, so the inside is always clean. So that there goes then off to your mains and all your bits and pieces in the engine, head, whatever you need. It's alright. That's obviously going to just be oily. So what I do is I get these, if you take my protein vitamins, they give you, not my proteins, bulk powders, basically give you what these B vitamin complex. They give you these aluminium things for your vitamins. They stink, but what they are really good for, empty your oil filter into. So now you've got everything out of that filter, because you want the outside, right? You want the inside, don't give a shit about because that's been filtered off, but the inside is what you do care about. So what you do now is you just do that. Just let it drip off. And you hope it don't look like the night sky. Mine is looking a little bit metallic-y. And then what I do is I just do this. Because I don't give a shit about the oil, right? What I give a shit about is what's in the oil. And then I'll put this through a coffee filter. I'll spray loads of brake cleaner in it so it really waters the oil down. And I'll pour it all through a coffee filter. If you do it differently, tell me. I don't know any other ways to do it, really. So then what I'll do here is I'll clean the filter inside out into this solution, then I'll pour it through a coffee filter. Well, they are magnetic as well, so again, spring. Good. They are magnetic in the bottom, so interestingly, now I've left that attached, all the stuff's transferred to here. So don't forget, that's everything that's gone through the filter. And I've got double crush on that, but please forgive me. Hate leaks. Step to investigate. So what I want to do now is get this filter and do it inside out. Sits up my way now. That's got stuff on the inside. But what I want to do is I just want to wash it down. And don't forget, that's clean oil coming out. So it's this outside here that we want to inspect. Chunks of metal or inflatables, whatever. Can't see nothing right now. I see little strands of stuff, almost like, as you can see, that there's no secrets with me. Might be little, but what I'm going to do is these little strands. There's strands of like hair. I'm going to run that. I'm going to clean that magnet off. Don't worry, I'll clean it into a tissue, and then I've just smelt this camera. This camera is absolutely boiling. That smells like it's going to go on fire. Yeah, so I'm just going to clean it out. Right, so now I've just brake cleaned that magnet, which is what's come off the sump plug. And you see it's just fur. It's all standing up. So what I'll do is I need to keep an eye on that. Now that could just be running in stuff, because it's not properly, I mean it will be now. If you look, it's just It's just paste. It's not actual material. It's just the way it's standing up on the magnet. It's not actually chunks of material. It's just sort of magnetic sludge, really. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'm going to put real tight warnings on the oil pressure so I can keep an eye on it all. Hopefully don't kill it. So what I do now is I just run it across here, because this filter is this is all stainless, so it's not magnetic, but this magnet is obviously magnetic, and the particulates are magnetic as well. So I thought that was a big chunk then, but no, it's not. I just do that all the way around and just check. Are we finding anything? Are we not? Just feel it. It's a little bit of grit there. Little bit of grit. I'm not going to say I'm worried about it. Just do a visual. There are little bits and pieces, like sparkling bits, but nothing that I would worry about. Maybe I should be worried, that's the problem. Right, let's just wash it out one last time. This just helps to water the oil down anyway. I would say that's a filter good enough to reuse.